Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sherri here, and I'm filming a video today for you because I have had so many people ask me about my cross wall. And I believe it was Lola Lane that said, could you tell us more about it, show us all of them, tell you guys a little bit about them and why I have the cross wall? And I said, sure. The thing is, as I'm looking at these, I can remember where some of them came from. I can remember who gave me some of them, but some of them I can't. So I'll tell you when I know, and when I don't know, I'll tell you that too. But I think what I'm going to do is just kind of sit in the middle of my bed and zoom in on each one, and I may not be able to individualize them completely because they are so close together, but I will tell you if there is a particular story behind them. And yeah, if you're interested in hearing about my cross wall and how it came to be, please keep watching. I fear this is going to be incredibly shaky, so I'm going to go quickly. This teal cross, I am sure my friend Becky gave me. This red one is stained glass, if you can't tell, my friend Dawn Maurice gave me. The one up above that says Hope, I believe one of my colleagues, Debbie Fritz, gave me. The teal and brown here with my baby Jagger in the little picture frame was also from Debbie Fritz. We worked in the same classroom for 3 years, so every year she gave me a beautiful cross. This is a card from my friend Vera. I thought it was beautiful, so I hung it up there. This one is recently from my friend Becky for Christmas. I think the one above it is also from my friend Becky, but I'm not positive. This one is a Christmas ornament. This one here came from some colleagues at school. It says, Jesus loves you. My friend Jennifer Barnhart and Catherine Chanel gave that to me for Christmas. This is a beautiful one that's actually has my name on it and my husband's name on it, and scripture from my friend Tony in Canada. She is my sister of the heart and I love her dearly. This one here is also a Christmas ornament. When I found pretty Christmas ornaments that were crosses, I just hung them. The giant cross in the middle is one that I bought myself. This beautiful cross once hung on a little stand, but it broke, and this was from my principal from my previous school, Teresa Schaefer. I believe the one next to it that's brown and teal, all the brown and teal ones I believe are from Becky. She knows that that was my color scheme for my home, and so she always wanted to help me coordinate. This one as well in the middle, the teal and brown one with the cross in the middle, is also from Becky. This beautiful pink cross is from Debbie Fritz. Everybody knows I love pink, but I was overly thrilled about this one just because it was so me. Another Christmas ornament. We used to do kind of a dirty Santa type ornament exchange at school, so I always tried to get the crosses. I believe this silver rope looking one I bought myself. This one has a pretty cool story. If you can see, it has the face of Jesus on it, and it has praying hands. We had a neighbor when I lived in Colorado, and at that time my boyfriend Steve was there, and our neighbors upstairs brought this to us. The man that lived up there made it, and honestly at that time I didn't really know Jesus, so it's kind of cool. It's like a reminder of where I came from, so I love that one. You'll have to kind of overlook all my cherry blossoms and other decorations. But my mom got me this one, I think 2 Christmases ago. It's got little cutouts and beaded work that goes into the little grooves, and it's so unique and beautiful. I love it so much. And honestly guys, every single one of these means so much to me. Every single one of them. And then I wanted to show you this one up close so you can see what it says. It's got a lock and a key. I love this one. It's from my friend Tony, again in Canada, my sister of the heart. It says, I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he will be saved. I love it. And this is on the opposite wall. I just wanted to show it to you because my friend Becky actually painted it for me, and it's hanging on my wall. And I will insert pictures of the other crosses in my house because I do have them all over my house. But yeah, these are the ones in my bedroom. So just to give you a little background on me, as far as my faith and my status of being a Jesus follower is concerned, I was saved at the age of 11 at a revival, and I really had no idea what I was doing. I was with my best friend at the time, Reba. She's still my best friend, but we were in 4th grade, I believe. Maybe 5th or 6th. Anyways, I was 11. And she was crying so, like she was uncontrollably crying. And I remember looking at her and being embarrassed for myself and for her and not understanding. But the truth is, she did understand. And that's why she was crying. And if I had understood, I would have been overwhelmed with emotion as well, but I did not. And so through my life, we didn't really attend church. I always laugh and say that I was raised in the church of baseball, but because my dad was a coach, we spent weekends at the ballpark, or we were out of state at a ballpark. And so, I always had a spiritual side. I always prayed, but I didn't really know who I was praying to. I knew it was God, I knew it was Jesus, but there wasn't a relationship there. It wasn't until I was around 31, 32, 33 years old, that I had my first physical encounter with Jesus. I had just been divorced for about 6 months. I was in a very deep depression. I was really, just not wanting to be on the earth anymore. And I remember I was laying in my den on the couch and it was dark. I was depressed to the point where I barely went out of the house. And I just was crying. I was crying over the loss of my marriage. I was crying over the loss of, my stepkids being with me every day. I was embarrassed because my husband had been unfaithful and that the mistress was going to be having a child. Even more so hurt because he and I had tried to get pregnant for 3 months and weren't able. It was just like an extra jab in the ribs. But I was just broken and sad and hurt and just done. And I just cried and I said, God, if you are real, if you are really there and you can really hear me, I need you to show up. You have got to show me without a doubt that you're here. I need you to show me. And honest to God, and people who haven't experienced anything like this can laugh and say whatever they want to say about this. But I felt the physical presence of God. And it was the first time I had ever felt it. And it was literally like he reached down and grabbed the burden off my shoulders and lifted it up. Because from that moment, the next morning I got up and showered, got dressed, went and ran errands, cleaned my house, did all the things that I had been neglecting. And it was like the first time I had taken a deep breath since the day I found out my husband was being unfaithful to me. I can't say that I was transformed and I immediately followed after Jesus. I made 8,000 really bad mistakes and decisions in between that time and the time that I really committed my life to Jesus. But when it finally got to that point, I can remember sometimes it makes me feel so hurt and embarrassed now. But there were times, I just rejected him so wholeheartedly. My friend Elizabeth tried to share Jesus with me. So many people tried to share Jesus with me, and my heart was completely closed off, and I don't even know why. But I believe now that because, there was a time and place for everything. There was a place that I was going to discover him, and I did. And so, anyways, there were times that, I literally was invited to go to church hundreds of times, never would go. I literally one time told my friend Marlene, turn off this Jesus music. I can't even deal with listening to another minute of this Jesus music when I was in the car with her. And that makes me feel so guilty now because I was so ungrateful. But when I moved back to Oklahoma and met my husband and we got married, my friend Becky, her sister-in-law, asked us to go to Life Church. And every church I'd ever been in, I just hated it. I felt so judged. I felt like everybody was looking down upon me. I was being talked down to, and you're so sinful and we're so holy and righteous, and you've got to do something about your life. And it just felt so condemning, and I always felt so ashamed because I had so much to be ashamed of from the life that I had led. And anyways, to make a long story short, I told her I would go only because I didn't want her to have to go by herself. And things changed from the minute I stepped in there. I felt welcomed. I felt like I belonged there. I felt like I had taken the first deep breath in my entire life. And even though I had already been saved, I recommitted to Jesus in the following weeks. I got baptized a couple months later. I learned and learned and learned. I started a life group. I led a life group for 6 years. I served at church online. I served at our our in-person campus in Stillwater. From that point on, I'm like full on serving Jesus, full on in love with Jesus. And so I will never turn around. And so from this point, my life is His. My life is for Him to use as He sees fit. Wherever He leads, that's where I will follow. And, I'm not one to shove my faith down other people's throats. I've never been that person because I felt very offended, I guess, or very pressured or very uncomfortable when people approached me with it. And so I wait until the time is right. And whenever I see somebody's heart is ready to receive it, and I see they're hungry for an answer, I give it to them. The answer is always Jesus. And so, if you're in that position and you're curious about God and about Jesus, and you aren't sure, or you're trying to decide, and I can do anything to help you in that, please don't hesitate to ask me. My testimony, you guys know that I make an 1.5 hour long video, and that's condensed down on a good day. So, my testimony is 3 hours long, and there's a lot of those things that I wouldn't feel comfortable sharing with the whole world. But there are a lot of those things that I would be comfortable sharing with a person one-on-one, talking about how following Jesus has changed my life and how having Him has changed everything for me. And I mean everything. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now because I would have never had the confidence in who I am or the value of what I had to say to even put myself out there like I have. It has everything to do with Him. Everything that's good in my life does. And so I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm going to close now, but if there's anything that I can ever do to help you faith-wise, please don't hesitate to ask. And that's the story behind my cross wall. I love Jesus. The cross is a symbol to me of His sacrifice for me that I never, ever want to forget. And so it also very much gives me peace to be hanging over my bed at night. I feel like I'm, being covered with angels when I go to sleep at night. And that's a peaceful, comfortable, loving feeling that I like to think and feel whenever I'm falling asleep at night. And it's the first thing I see when I wake up and throw my legs over the side are the crosses and the one that Becky made for me. So anyways, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so before you go. And until next time, take care and God bless. And now you know why I always say God bless. Bye, guys.